everybody, what is going on? It's Mackenzie Chriswell here. Welcome back to another very exciting, well, I hope it'll be exciting, new tutorial. Anyways, let's jump into this video. This is kind of a cool, this is super simple. This is a super simple intro, but it's kind of fun. So let me see here. I think I have a QuickTime movie open. There it is. Let's go ahead and just play this thing. If we kind of scroll through the project here, you can see what we're working with. Just kind of some nice, slow camera movement. Not a ton of complicated lighting or anything. The text is kind of written on as we go. This is a really cool effect. One of my favorite types of designs ever is the text being written on, so I'd love to use this as much as I can. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. A couple of things that you're going to need, and I will definitely make sure to have download links below. The first image is this paint splatter kind of graphic. You can literally just go to Google Images, search paint splatter, and find like any texture that you like. This is I just picked up one. I didn't even diversify it that much, and then I distorted it a little bit to create two different paint splatters. And then we also have this photo of a guy skateboarding. Oh, one more thing before we get started. I know, it's a lot, but I'm working with this new website, and I promise I would not be shilling it out if I didn't think it was really, really cool. So the website is called Tube Arsenal, and this is basically kind of a copy of this design right here. It's number 145 on their website. It's called Paint Agent, and this is going to be, this After Effects design. Here it is, and here is a version of it on their website. And the cool thing about this website, Tube Arsenal, is you have the ability to download After Effects templates, that type of thing, as you always have been able to do. But a lot of people are constantly emailing me, sometimes leaving comments in YouTube videos, like messaging me on Facebook, asking for designs, like motion graphics designs, intros, titles, that type of thing. And this is a really cool, and I might mention it, really cheap way to get just that. So let me just give you a little bit of a demo. Basically, the way that it works is you can pay them $9 for a 720p intro, $11 for a 1080p intro. They have this really cool editor here where you can change all sorts of aspects of the design. So let me just say this was $11, and then let me change up some of the colors here on this design. Don't know why the YouTube video doesn't want to load right now, but go ahead and just give ourselves a still to preview. Click that button. It's going to take a second, and it's going to, in real time, basically, well, a little bit, render a version of this design that I sent to them, and they've uploaded on their website. And you get to buy an intro really cheap. You get to customize it very simply. You never have to open up After Effects. You don't have to buy After Effects or Cinema 4D or whatever software the other people are using on this website. It's insanely cool, and there are quite a few artists on this website that are better than I am. This is a really, really cool one. This one is called New World. Anyways, let's finally go ahead and get started here. First thing we'll do is create a new composition. Come up to Composition, New Composition, my favorite way. Just Command N, super quick, easy shortcut. I guess we'll just do like a 720p composition. We're just going to give ourselves like 7 seconds to work with. Okay, don't know why that was set at 35 minutes. Okay, and we'll just call this tutorial 1. Sweet. And then we'll go ahead and come up to Layer, New, Solid, and pick a color that you like. I'm going to go with kind of the red that I use a lot. It's kind of an off red. It's still very vivid, but it's just a little bit more subtle of a red, or a little matter. It's a little bit more matte. And then we'll call this layer background, I guess. Okay. And we want to make it pretty large because this is a 3D composition. We're going to be moving around with the camera a lot. And it's not a ton of movement, so we don't need anything crazy, but we need enough pixels to work with. So we'll just do like 4,000 by 4,000, I guess. Yeah, that seems like it'll do the trick. And now we have a nice new background here. Next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and just create some text. Let's see, I'll do... All right, and tracking down. Let's see, I like that font that I was using in the original, but I don't remember what it was called. Death Rattle. Wow, okay. I'll definitely try to find a link to this font, and it'll be in the description. So, okay. And let's increase, this is a cool control. This is called the tracking of the text. If you don't know about this, basically it's just going to add space in between each character. And it's going to give you some interesting looks a lot of times. This is one of the things that they'll teach you in like a Photoshop class or something. Let's see, we'll center it up. And one thing to notice, this is something kind of important here when you're working in 3D. For whatever reason, by default, After Effects is going to set the anchor point. And let me just do a quick demo here. If you notice this dot right here, crosshairs, this is the point at which a layer will be transformed. So if we take a look at like the background layer, you'll notice the anchor point is dead center. If we take a look at the text layer, this anchor point is going to be in the middle of your text layer, but down. So if we rotate our text, and I'm just hitting R to bring up the rotation, it was going to rotate from this point at the bottom of the text, and that's not really what we want. So what we're going to do is come up to the toolbar, grab this cool tool. It's called the Pan Behind Anchor Point tool, and it's going to allow us to move the anchor point basically to the center of the text. And now, if we start rotating it again, we're going to rotate from the center. So it may seem like a small difference now, but just keep that in mind when you're working in 3D, because that can really mess some stuff up. Let's see, what else do we want to do here? Let's go ahead and grab some of those paint splatters. Basically what I did in the original was I didn't use the paint splatter textures themselves. What I want to actually do, I do want to do a little bit of work here inside of the comp to make this really easy to use. So let's see, I'll grab a curves effect, and I'm going to really darken it, and then I'll grab a tint effect, oops, and we'll just make it basically black and white. So we'll tint it before the curves. Let's see here. There we go. And we want to get this dark enough to the point where it's black, but that it doesn't start to expand the actual texture. If you notice here, past a certain point, we're enlarging the texture. So we want to avoid that and just have it basically pure black. Seems like this is that point. Okay. And then we'll do a layer, pre-compose, move all attributes to the new composition, hit OK, and now we'll go ahead and do that effect, or I'm sorry, layer auto trace. And we'll set the trace type to luminance, and we'll turn on preview, and now you can see this is actually a really powerful tool. You can do a lot of cool things with it. We're basically going to have After Effects trace the whole texture and recreate all these little intricate tiny parts into masks. And basically the benefit of that, I'll go ahead and apply it to a new layer. Maybe. It's going to take a second to load because there are a lot of really intricate parts here. And you can see we have just a ton of masks here. So, wow, that is crazy. And basically what I'll do, let's see, we want to delete this big mask around the center. Okay, yeah. So the benefit of this is that if we go ahead and set our comp to 100%, if we're using just our texture here, we can only scale it up to a certain point before we start to get degradation. The layer is going to pixelate, and it's not going to be pretty. But if we go ahead and we put this in a new pre-comp and move all the attributes over, open up this comp, we're going to push couple of buttons here. I'm sorry. I know it seems like a lot of weird technical stuff for this one, but trust me, if you just kind of memorize a lot of these processes, it's going to make your workflow a whole lot easier. Basically, what we want to do is we want to turn on this button called Collapse Transformations. It's going to continuously rasterize our layer. And that's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, but basically what that means is that if we set our composition back up to 100%, turn on the same setting, in this composition, we've effectively created a vector layer, and we can scale this up to any point without degradation. We can make this as large as we need to. We're working in 720p right now, so it isn't going to make a big difference, but if we're working in 4K, that's going to come in handy here. Set this back down to 100. Let's see, we'll do one more of these, and let's see, we'll rotate it. I'm hitting R to bring up the rotate control again, and then we'll also just hit S to bring up the scale, and we'll scale it up a little bit. Stick it over in this corner. And then, let's see here. Let's give ourselves a little bit more room in the actual timeline, I guess, down here. And bring the text layer to the top. And we'll make all of these layers 3D. And then we'll create a new camera. I like to just do like a standard 50mm camera. Okay. And if we grab the camera rotate tool up here, we can go ahead and move this around. You'll notice I did turn off those rasterized layers, and that's because we can't control those with a 3D camera. But if you do need to scale up, basically what you can do is just pre-compose again, and then you'll have just a layer scaled up all the way you need, but you can still do the 3D controls. Yeah, I'm liking this. I want to go ahead and change the color of these two paint sources. So we'll do like a fill effect, and let's make these, I don't know if I want to do just like a black. I was thinking we could do like a dark red almost, but that's kind of, I don't know about that. Something like a gray. And then bring on another fill effect. I know I don't want to leave them white because I know I want the text to stand out. We could just do like a yellow. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. And then what we'll go ahead and do is we'll grab our background layer, and using this blue Z-depth slider, this Z-depth movement tool, we're going to push this layer way back further in 3D space. And then we're going to grab our paint splatter, and we're going to push this one probably up in front of the text, and the black one to the back. And now if we're kind of rotating around with our camera tool, oh yeah, we're going to get some really interesting depth. Whoop, bumped my mic there. We're going to get some really interesting depth. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Yeah, this is really cool. One more thing we can do is we'll just kind of animate the scale on both of these, kind of going down as the time passes on. And to do that, I'm just coming to the first frame, I'm hitting S to bring up the scale control, and I'm hitting this stopwatch here, and then dragging to the end of the comp and changing the scale a little bit. So now if we come through here. Oh yeah, that's nice. And we'll have to animate the camera to get some nice movement, but we're going to do that towards the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in our skateboarder here. So we'll grab the Roto Brush, come over here, and let's see, if you hold down Command, you can make this tool a lot smaller. Control for PC users. And we'll just kind of come around the areas that we want to keep. A cool skateboarder guy. If we hold down Alt, we can turn this thing red and erase parts that we want to get rid of. And this doesn't need to be too close of a roto because, I mean, we're just going to be turning this black into a 2D shape. So let's bring that back in. Yeah. Feel free to comment below about my sound effects. Let me know how into that you are. Okay. It's looking pretty sharp. Okay. There is kind of this cool tool inside of After Effects called the Refine Edge tool. And if you just trace around like something like hair, it's going to do a very good job of varying the opacity of certain parts of a roto. So with hair, translucent materials, this is going to work really well. I guess what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add that fill effect again. And we'll fill this with, should we do like a black? Yeah, okay, we'll have to mess around a little bit. But you'll see we'll get a really rough edge. And that's not desirable. Let's see, if we hit the tilde key, we can just come in here and see, this is kind of a rough matte, which isn't ideal. Let's see. If we use the Refine Edge tool that I was talking about, if you especially look up here at the hair like I was talking about, you can see a whole lot of gray and variance between it. Okay, so hit the tilde key again, which, by the way, if you don't know what that is, it's just a button right above the tab key on most keyboards. It's going to look like kind of a squiggly line. Anyways, here's our matte. And what we want to do is inside of this Roto Brush control, we will, we'll just smooth out the edge until it's pretty much perfectly smooth. You can see here, like up on the shoulder and stuff, it's going to be much smoother than it was without that control. So that's going to come in handy quite a bit. And if you don't want to do all the roto brushing, you can actually also just come in here and with just the standard mask tool, you can mask around your guy. It's not going to take a very long time, and it's going to give you personally some more precise control over where things go, where you're matting off certain objects. I'm going to copy and paste over my original. It looks a little bit better. You're going to want to put some time into this, really masking it out. Whether you do the Roto Brush or whether you just use the pen tool, you're going to need to be doing a lot of work, not a ton of work, but you're going to be needing to do a little bit more precise work just to get it to... We'll go ahead and also make it a 3D layer, and we're going to push it behind the text. And I guess we want to change the color of this first paint splatter, but I don't know what to change it to. So now we just have a couple of things left to do. We want to animate our text being written in, and we want to add some camera movement. So let's go ahead and animate that camera. So we'll grab this camera tool again, and if we go ahead and come around here, let's see, we'll just do something like that. If we grab the camera tool, we can expand it by hitting this triangle, go to transform, and we want to transform, or I'm sorry, we want to hit the stopwatch on the point of interest and the position. This is going to create what are called keyframes. This is just going to lock this data in at this point in time. And then if we move to a new point in time, and I guess just kind of like rotate around, it's going to automatically fill in the data in the middle and create a cool animation. So that's a nice, really, really nice feature of After Effects. Looking good. One more thing we can do. Let's create a light. Do a spotlight, yeah. And that's not actually what I do. I want to do a new point light. Looking good, looking good. And let's bring it back in Z-space quite a bit. I'm just going to put it right up at this background in a spot. And then I'll also do, oops, a new light again, and we'll do a spotlight. But I'm just going to pull this one all the way back. And we still seem to be kind of missing something, so we'll do one more new light, do a spotlight, and let's bring up the position controls, or the transform controls. Let's rotate it. Okay. That looks pretty good. Maybe we could do one more light. Just a point light. And we'll put it down on the text to light that up a little bit. Let's see. Okay, that looks nice. Okay, I like that a lot. So now let's go ahead and just animate in our text here. So what we'll do is zoom in here. We're going to come back over to our friendly little pen tool. And what we want to do is trace kind of the path we would use if we were writing this text down. So create the B, come around here, create the rest of the B, then we come back in for the second little hump, and then we come over to the R, and then we do like a nice little circle around the R, come back out and create that line there. Come to the E, do the E. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Just, you want to trace basically, and you can be kind of artsy and fun with this. This is a cool way to add your touch, is you just want to trace basically the way that you, being the person with the pen tool, would write out the word. So in this case, I'm just kind of trying to guess the path that my pen would take to spell out the word. And you need to be fairly, I guess, accurate here. Not accurate. You want your paths to cross through the entire letter as much as possible. And we'll get to why that is in just a second. And then trace our O here. I know this is super boring. I'll probably find some ways to jump cut through stuff like this. Don't get me wrong, I like motion graphics, but this is part of it that is just, wow, insanely boring. Wow, okay, so that was kind of a chore, but now that we have this mask path on our text, what we can go ahead and do is grab a really cool effect called stroke. And then what you want to do is you want to set this stroke to reveal the original image. And let's go ahead and turn that mask off for a sec. And what you'll see is initially all we'll see is my terrible mask path is what it's basically going to be outlining. This is actually kind of a cool font in and of itself, but what we'll do is we'll change the brush size until we have revealed all of the text, and then we'll change the end point to slowly write on the text, if you kind of see what it's doing now. And this is a cool font, but it's not actually like the best font to use with this kind of effect. Anyways, that's not really important. Anyways, all we need to do is animate this. We'll start at about the 2-second point, or about the second half point. We'll keyframe the endpoint at 0, and then at about 4 seconds, we'll keyframe it at 100%. It's going to be writing on our text as we're moving through our nice 3D space. Very nice, very interesting. But I think that's about it for this design. Feel free to throw all sorts of random shapes, objects into 3D space. It's going to look really cool when you can actually see them. Where'd it go? Oh, whoops. Throw it into 3D space here, and it's going to create some really interesting, weird effects that, well, this one doesn't look very good. But anyways, my point is experiment and find something cool that's going to work for your design. And if you still can't find something interesting after all that experimenting, hey, maybe just head on over to Tube Arsenal and give my preset and give my project a download. Anyways, that's about it for this one. If you liked this video, feel free to like below. If you're looking for more content, I have a whole YouTube channel that you can check out. And if you can't find anything interesting there, maybe check out my website. Oh, wait, there it is. I introduced the new scrolly website header thing again, which, yeah, that's interesting. Anyways, that's it for this one. I'll see you next time.